to Slothbox. I'm Lyndon Dixon, and as usual, this video is brought to you by the Excelsior Sporting Club. Today, I'm joined by a man who's been on many times, but a man who each time I'm just as excited to speak to. It's Daniel Chucky Barrera. Daniel, how you getting on, mate?
How you doing, guys? Just doing good, Very excited.
Good. Right. Last time we spoke, well, since the last time we spoke, you've had 2 fights and 2 knockouts, but most recently against Alvarez back in July. Talk to me. How did that night go for you?
It went really well. I mean, before the fight, I was already going in there with like, this kid's gonna be tough. He's durable. He hasn't really been stopped in his fights, from videos that I've seen. So I was like, okay, he's gonna be tough. And he would come forward and just throw shots, awkward positions, and just rip. So I just went in there. I knew I had to start off with my jab, but the day of, I was, kind of taking a nap before the fight. But like during that nap time, I kept playing the fight over and over in my head. Every scenario, what I think is gonna land, what I feel like if I miss with this shot, I'm gonna throw the left hook to the body, and I ended up doing that, and it just worked perfectly.
In boxing, especially for yourself, how key do you think like techniques like that, like visualization, sorry, how key do you think things like that are in a sport like this?
I think it's very much needed, to be honest, because like you just have to envision yourself in all circumstances in the ring. I was even envisioning myself getting dropped, him just being rugged, getting cut, just stuff like that.
Mm.
I gotta visualize everything because once it happens, I can't freak out. At least in my head, I already, okay, if this happens, this is what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna respond, and hopefully that if it did happen in real time, I'd respond the same way.
Mm. I just want to rewind a little bit. I remember when we spoke before, you said that that draw that you had in your second fight, you called that a learning fight. I just wanted to feel, how do you feel you've progressed in those 2 fights since?
Definitely feel like I progressed by having a lot of patience. I got frustrated in that fight, but I'd say I got frustrated just because, he was a southpaw. We didn't get as much work as we needed. We probably had about 3 to 4 sessions of sparring with the southpaw when we found out we were going to fight him.
Mm.
And, we tried to get our best out of our training camp, but, it is what it is. We learned not to do that again. And I learned not to get impatient. I was tripping over his foot. And then I started catching him with bombs, and I would see him wobble, and that's all I fell in love with, was trying to land that right hand, and instead of going back to what I know.
Yeah.
But I definitely learned how to be patient, how to not, if he hits me, not try to rush back with a combination of my own, just relax, and just let everything flow.
Mm. Well, next up, you're fighting on the UFC Fight Pass again, promoted by Tom Loeffler. How are you feeling going into this next one? I haven't seen much of an opponent yet, but how are you feeling about it? It's coming up soon.
Yeah, opponent's still in the air. It's kind of hard to get an opponent this time, but I mean, I'm sure 360 is doing the best they can to find an opponent, which I'm very grateful for. But I'm very excited. This is the first time I've fought back to back. And I felt like I haven't missed a step. Usually when I come back from long breaks, it kind of takes a while to get back to where I want to feel good. And I didn't have to take any I didn't miss any step. I just felt like I was back in the gym and just 100% ready to go now if I wanted to.
On your Instagram, I see that you're constantly busy. How key do you think keeping busy in a sport like boxing is? Because, like you said, you feel like you haven't missed a step this time round. How important do you think that is?
I think it's very important because after my first fight in July, I took a good amount of break, and then it took us a while to get back to where we wanted to. And I believe that was when we got the draw. But again, that was my fault. I shouldn't have been out the gym so much. I've learned that as well in my career, that don't stay out the gym longer than a week. After the fights, that's the max I can get.
Yeah.
Regardless if I'm just working light in the gym, be in the gym. Make that a routine always. So I felt good though. Being busy is definitely great. Staying busy fighting is even better because you don't have to spar as much. You can just get back into it, work some strengthening, work some conditioning, and then spar a little less.
Well, moving on from what's next, I just want to talk to you a little bit about something else and about the ambition that you have in the sport. I mean, every boxer that turns pro have the dream of being a world champion. But I just wondered, what are you chasing? Like when you're an old man and you have your grandkids, what do you hope to be able to tell them?
Definitely want to be known as one of the greats in this sport. Being world champion is great, and I would love to be as soon as possible. But then again, I'm very young. I'm 21 years of age. I have 5 years before I hit 26, and that's roughly about the average age fighters, have their first world title fight. So, I mean, if I can capture a couple titles in different divisions, that'll be great. And I'm sure with my fighting style and, my punching power and just entertaining the fans, I'm sure I can go down as one of the greats, but that is definitely the goal.
Sticking with ambition, I just wondered, it sounds like a cliche question, but each time I've been asking it recently, I'm getting different answers. What is Chucky's dream venue?
I really don't have one I don't. I'd say I have a dream opponent, and it'll be Inoue. That'll be an amazing, crazy fight. I feel like I do see both of us, going to war, and one's get wobbled and the other gets wobbled as well. I definitely do. He's sneaky. He's quick. He has good combinations, and he has pop. So I don't really have a dream venue, but I do have a dream opponent, and that would be him.
You mentioned the Inoue there. Well, that sort of brings me on to my next question. I mean, we saw Crawford Spence just a few weeks back now, and that conversation for who's pound for pound number one is really between those two guys. And I was just wondering, who's your pick?
I honestly believe Crawford. He just put on a great performance. Spence didn't look himself. He didn't, but I mean, still, when you're at that level, you should know yourself, and you should, if you're not feeling well or you're not 100% there, make adjustments to at least give a better fight. But he went to war. Props him. He didn't give up. He didn't want to stop. But just Crawford I think was more determined to win. He just super laser focused in the ring, walking into the ring, in the press conferences. He looked very focused and hungry, and I mean, he got the job done.
Well, last question from me. As always, it's been a pleasure, but where do you see yourself come the end of the year? It's Christmas time, you're with your family. What have you ticked off by the end of 2023?
Hopefully, we can get another 2 fights in. That'll be great. Put me at 5-0. Get to relax a little bit and start the year again off strong. And whatever fights they say that they have for me, I'll be ready for. And I'm just very excited to continue with 360.
Well, Chucky, as I said, it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to chat with you about what's next. I've been Lyndon Dixon. He's been Chucky Barrera, and we will see you on the next one.